All right, everybody, welcome back or welcome to the Beyond the Trail podcast, brought to you by Jester, Wallis Productions, and Hiker Metals. And I'm one of your hosts, Julie Gayheart, or also known as Jester. And the other host of the show, right beside me, with way more scruff on his face than I'm normally used to, Austin. Welcome back.
What's up, folks? Great to
And
finally be back.
I know, I feel like I have not talked to you in a couple years.
I know. Well, we haven't done one of these episodes in a hot minute either, so we're overdue.
I know if there's one thing anybody can count on is we are consistently inconsistent. So we will try to get better, everybody. Austin and I, between our, what I call our 9 to 5 or our day jobs, we have been aggressively filming for Safe and Found.
Oh, yeah.
And Austin just went on a kayak trip, which we are going to talk about. I'm going to make you wait till next week when we have on our special guest, Pete Beck. But first of all, I want to say hello to everyone that is in the chat, and thanks for joining us. We truly appreciate it. And we've got a couple announcements before we bring our guest on. But Austin, you know what I do. I try to find something to open the show up with. And I realized we are officially a company. And do you know how you are officially a company?
We get spammed or something? I don't know what.
Well, that happens too. You get stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at these stickers, you guys. Austin designed these, of course. Jester Wallis Productions. Well, that's just part of it. You get stickers, and that kind of makes you... It doesn't officially make you an LLC. What makes you an LLC, do you know what makes you an LLC?
A stack of paperwork.
Well, that too.
I'm not good at this game, apparently.
Business cards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at those things. Austin designed those as well. And even more better, the back. I mean, there you go. I know, now I know, they're very sharp. And we have a couple events coming up that we are going to be at. And we're going to have these stickers. And we're going to have our business cards because we are for hire. That's what happens when you're an official LLC. You are for hire. So, Austin, you want to let them know where we are going to be. Actually, we're going to be there Friday, June 2nd.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Don't forget. And Saturday, June 3rd. So tell them what we're doing.
I'm super stoked. So Friday, we're going to go hang out with some amazing folks. And Saturday in Elkin, we're going to be hanging out at NC Trail Days, and we're going to have a live showing of the full-length I Am the MST, the documentary that Julie and I produced last year for the Mountains of Sea Trail. The folks at NC Trail Days invited us to show it at the Reeves Theater in Elkin. So at 10 o'clock on Saturday, I think that's right.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Be there. Reeves Theater, Elkin. I'm not sure the address, but it's not that big of a town.
Yeah, Reeves Theater. It's the movie theater right there in downtown Elkin. We're going to do a Q&A session, just talk about the film, talk about making the film, and then show it in its full entirety. So the stuff that's out there on YouTube right now is kind of broken up into 4 episodes. And the version that we're going to show on Saturday, next Saturday, has actually never been seen anywhere before. But it's just a conglomeration of all 4 episodes into one full-length documentary. So I'm really excited to show it. I think it's going to be, it was one of those things when we were at NC Trail Days last year, filming for I Am the MST. I was like, it would be so cool to show this film at the Reeves Theater. And so I was just like, it's just full circle. It just feels really good. So I'm super excited. So we're going to hang out Friday and Saturday, and then Saturday's the showing. So it's going to be good times.
Yeah, and then I might as well go ahead and tell everybody on that Saturday, I think at 3 o'clock, at the Angry Troll which is, I know, the name itself. Okay, so 3 o'clock, Saturday. Is Saturday the 2nd or the 3rd? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yes. So Saturday,
Saturday's the 3rd.
the 3rd at 3 o'clock, we're going to kind of do a hiker hangout at the Angry Troll, which is a restaurant and brewery. I don't think it's a brewery. It's a restaurant, and they sell beverages. And they've got a really good place to hang out and spend some time with your fellow hikers. Oh, Carissa says that Saturday is the 3rd National Trail Days. Even better to come to Elkid and celebrate with us.
No better way to celebrate Trail Days or the National Trail Days.
National Trail Days. Forget Damascus Trail Days. This is National Trail Days.
Damascus, where's that?
So anyway, so we've got that going on. And then I think we already told everybody we're already going to be starting another filming project with the West Virginia Scenic Trails Association. So right after that, we're going to be going to West Virginia, not sure where yet, and starting some filming. But I also want you guys to mark your calendars for October, because October's a big month. Austin, do you have it marked? So the last weekend in September, and the reason I'm telling you guys this is because everybody needs, time to take off work and all these things. And the last weekend in September, we are going to be doing our Woods Hole weekend. And right after that, we're going to be going hiking. And Steve on Facebook the other night invited everybody to go hiking with us. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. It'll be fine. So in between the Woods Hole weekend, we're going to go hiking, maybe visit some ponies up in the area in Virginia. And then an area called Grayson Highlands. Then tell them what's going to happen at Alda.
We're going to be, actually Alda invited us to show I Am the MST. So we're going to do another live Q&A and showing of I Am the MST at Alda. So another awesome venue. I'm actually excited about Alda because I've never been to Alda, but it's got some pretty big names and keynotes and that kind of thing. So it's going to be a cool, just hiker vibe.
Yeah, I think our guest tonight needs to come to Alda with his wife, Laura. Is what I'm thinking. So, Wim, I'm not sure why you're not marking this stuff down on your calendar now. You truly do need to join us at Alda, and I actually think you need to sign up for a booth there, and we're going to see if we can make it happen. But
Wim's
anyway,
what in the world?
I know Wim's behind the scenes shaking his head like, you guys. He was afraid of what I was going to say. So there you go. I'm already calling him out to come to Alda. And I know Laura is listening. So Laura, you get out your calendar as well because we want to see you again. But typically this is the point in our podcast where we actually talk about hiker medals and we flash a beautiful medal on the screen. And typically Austin shows up. But tonight, you guys, I'm getting ready to flash the screen. So there's Wim, everybody. The man, the myth.
The myth, the legend.
Sure. How are y'all doing?
We're good, Wim.
What's up?
It's great to see you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. There's no better way to introduce you than besides your medal.
I know. Clearly. You know what my trail name is, right?
No.
It's the Medal Man.
Perfect.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with my capabilities, just with the darn medals.
I know the best part of this is no one can see us. So it is all about you. So what we want to do is, we've been talking about this medal and Austin's been describing it and, the intricacies of what it took to put together. So it's better to hear it from you. Why don't you tell us what this medal's about, why it took you so long to design it, and what we're doing with it?
That's awesome. No, so thank you so much. So there was a lot of pressure with the design of this medal because you all came up with the idea, right? You had explained about the documentary and kind of wanted to associate a medal with it. And then how about the Smokies 900? And I had never heard of that specific accomplishment. So it required some digging and some research. And so it's funny, right? So if you see the medals, if you kind of compare them, and they've evolved over time, But with a new design, you start with a few elements, right? You start, are the flags involved? In this case, there's 2, right? So that's a bonus. Then kind of looking at, is there a route involved? Well, the 900 miles as routes, that didn't really work out. But then you look at, okay, what can be on the foreground? And then you really have the picture. I look at a lot of pictures of online to see what would be a good reflection of what the medal is trying to reflect, right? So that turned out to be this, but it took me forever. I mean, so it was busy at that time as well, but so I can only really work on medals in the weekend. And it was really the map at the bottom that you see, right? So it has really, you don't really see it in the medal that you see now, but it has 6 different levels, right? So each level is, I took the map and then I kind of, on your iPad, you kind of, it's dot by dot, you kind of reproduce what's there to make that effect then. And it's really, when you see it, you can really see that there's so many levels. But that's what took it so long. And I have to say, anything that has to do with mostly forest, it's really hard to design, right? It's really hard to do anything with trees, because then at some point in time they all start to look alike. So this with the map and then the altitude, it worked out really well, I have to say. And it was important because it was associated to y'all, and of course also with Nancy East and what she's doing with the WNC Wilderness Safety Fund. And what probably, right? So a lot of the so 10% of our revenue goes back to organizations supporting trails. And in this case, it would be her organization. And that does put a little extra pressure on it. If you really know specifically for what organization it is, you really want to make sure it's worth it and doesn't end up in the trash. So yeah, that turned out.
I don't think this one's going to end up in the trash.
and for those that are actually watching, these medals are 3-dimensional. So when he's talking about the 6 different levels, all of those different levels are 3-dimensionally into the medal itself. So I was just, when we finally got to see Nancy's a couple of weeks ago, I was just fascinated. I was just like, this, it's a work of art. It's literally a work of art. It's
Thank
beautiful.
You. Appreciate that. It was fun. And I'm so glad you all got to give it to Nancy. That's really great. Yeah, she really earned it. Right?
She certainly did. She certainly did.
She really did. Yeah.
And Austin and I are going to buy them just because. So
yeah, so people ask me about that, right? So how do you check if people did it? And like,
doesn't matter.
I don't care. If you can live, right? If you can live with yourself, I'm good.
So the way I look at it is you can either, so like in Nancy's case, she completed the Smokies 900, so she obviously can get the medal. The way I look at it too is you can get a medal as like something to hang on your wall and be like, that's going to be a someday, and as like a motivation, if you hang it up on your wall and be like, I'm going to earn that. That's mine. I'm going to get it. That's something happen. I'm going after. Right. Exactly. So that's the way I look at it too. So I may never actually complete the Smokies 900, but I just think it's so, there's so much meaning for me personally that's represented in that medal. I think it's going to happen. So
that's very cool.
I think people get twisted up about that because there's people that just can't do that. And maybe, they're inspired by the medal or they want to give it to a family member where the Smokies or whatever trail, means something to them. And I don't know why people get twisted up about that. There's no reason.
I mean, it's probably, it's on Facebook. So,
yeah.
What happens on Facebook, right?
What happens on Facebook, delete.
No, yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. So again, we love to brag about this. I'm going to pop it up one more time. So gorgeous. And I didn't know that the trees were the worst part. So it's always good to hear it from the person that creates something as so intricate as what you put together. And so we thank you for that. So again, I'm going to go ahead and say it. And I'm going to ask Stella, aka Stephanie. I have revealed who Stella is. If she will put your website in the chat, hikermetals.com, 20% off. Is that still a thing? 20% off if you use the code Jester in all caps. And please tell us live if anybody has purchased, or you could lie to us.
Oh no, the funniest thing ever, right? So people have bought it with with the Jester discount, but there was something wrong on my website. So somebody had applied it multiple times, and it took 20% off every time.
Oh no!
So I had to fix that.
Wow.
They
Yeah, it's
found
just
the loophole.
they found a loophole.
There's
It was
always a
open.
loophole. There's always a loophole.
It got fixed, so don't get excited. But yeah, no, people do buy with the Jester discount. I very much appreciate it.
Excellent. And that's out there forever, because if somebody listens to this, they're going to use it. So
Yeah, I know.
don't ever take that off. So before we get into the bulk of the show, since we're talking about metals, I did see on Facebook, speaking of Facebook, you have released some more. So tell us about those.
Yes, there's a few are on the way right now. They should be here, I think, early next week. Looks like it. So I have Ice Age Trail coming up, which I'm really excited. So many people had asked for that for so long, and I just didn't get to it, and now it's there. And not to brag, but it looks really nice. It looks really nice. And then we got the Florida Trail, which was an interesting one to do, and the Dolomites. In Italy, so that's also there. So those are coming in about a week, and then there's 2 new designs that have just gone to the factory. So that will be another few more weeks before they're ready. It's a long process to get them actually made. It's the Manitou Incline. It's probably the metal for the shortest hike. It's a mile. And initially it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, wait. Now, see, last week on Facebook, Steve and I went live on Facebook and said we were going to go up the Manitou Incline, and you said you were going to join us.
I will. No. I'm not going to do the metal, right? I mean, I'm going to do metal for a mile, but I would like to do the Manitou Incline. But it's, of course, if you don't know, right? So this is on the side of Pikes Peak, and in a mile, the elevation change is 2,000 feet. So it's very steep, and it takes several hours. You also go back on the bar trail, I think. So I think total is about 3 or 4 miles. But so it's the shortest hike I have a medal for. But a lot of people have been asking for it because they do it with families, and so it's kind of fun. So the Manitou Incline, and then the Camelback Mountain is coming out. That's another one that just finished, and that should also be probably 4 more weeks, and it should be available as well. So yeah, pretty productive. As soon as I got the Smokies one done, freed up my time for other ones.
Mm-hmm. So listen, Carissa, who works for the C&O Canal, Carissa, tell us exactly the name of it. She says that she needs to talk to you about a hiker-biker medal for the C&O Canal. She's actually the marketing director.
Very cool.
I'm going to hook you all up.
Please do.
And Stella, a.k.a. Stephanie, says Camelback Mountain, because that's where she grew up. So when she saw that one, she was like, okay, I got to have that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Austin's got an idea for you, too. I don't know if you want to unveil that now or wait, Austin.
Uh-oh. Do I need to take notes?
Yes.
Golly.
Come on, Wim, take notes.
We're not going to dictate everything just yet.
Okay.
But
all right.
What I want to do is back up, because we've kind of, I feel like we're just good friends at this point, because we've been talking to you for 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the listeners for the podcast don't know you, and so what I want to do is back up and just talk about, if you can talk about how you got into the outdoors, but more specifically how did hiker metals kind of come into being, because it's a really unique thing, because like the first one that let's see here if I got it. I always love showing these things off because they're so awesome. So this is my Mountains to Sea Trail medal that Julie gave me when we completed the I Am the MST film last year. And then my John Muir Trail medal, which I know has special meaning for you too, mm-hmm. And then with some engravings on the back. So can you talk to us about how hiker medals came into being?
Yeah, it's do you have a minute?
Of course. Wait a minute. Yeah, we have so much time. I'm going to give you you got the whole screen to yourself.
Yeah. No, so maybe a bit of background, right? So yeah. I, of course, also full-time job like both of you as well, right? 9 to 5 or more. And in 2016, the company I was working for came up with a sabbatical. And so it was going to be 4 weeks to give me off. And I was really trying to figure out what am I going to do. I was not necessarily a hiker. I'm a runner, right? So I've run marathons, half marathons, but not necessarily a hiker. But then I saw the documentary Mile, Mile and a Half. And that
That got
describes
all
this.
of us.
It's phenomenal, right? And I thought that would be something, because you really want to do something that recharges your battery instead of just doing chores at home, right? So I started to get ready for it. I started training. I educated myself, trying not to be the target of a search and rescue. Very overwhelming in the beginning, especially because of the altitude. Very concerning. And my only way to get a permit was to go northbound, which means the second day you're at the highest, you're on Mount Whitney. So so I was going to do all that, but when I run a 5K here in the neighborhood, I get a medal, and there I'm hiking 240 miles or so. I did in the end in total, and I would get nothing. So then I started thinking, well, but there's nothing out. I mean, you can do a search, you can get a T-shirt or anything like that, but then I thought, well, why don't I try to make something? So I reached out to a company and they said, well, yeah, you can we can do something for you, but you have to order 100. So I designed the medal, the John Muir Trail one. It was actually the predecessor of the one that you have, Austin. It was the first version. So ordered 100. I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen, right? I could probably try to sell these. And this was all still before I started the trip. And then when they came in, I mean, they were really nice. And it was very grateful. There was a Facebook group and they allowed me to post because they thought it was so unique. And literally the remaining, they sold almost in a weekend.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I got all these questions for how about the Appalachian Trail or the PCT or right. So, but at that point in time, I still had to go on the hike. So I waited for that. And I think
bother me, people.
Yeah, exactly. Leave me alone. I think at that point in time, it was also called, I think the PayPal account was JMT Awards, John Muir Trail Awards, something like that. Right? I had no idea what I was going to do with this. But anyway, so yeah, got a lot of, and what was incredibly rewarding is on Mount Whitney. So at some point in time, you get to the point where you have to leave your packs behind, and I had my medal on the outside. And somebody walked up to me, oh, I got the same medal. And I was like, yeah, no, that's from me. He's like, yeah, no, I bought that online. I said,
yeah,
that's
I sold
me.
it to you.
So
wait, so you carried the medal on the trail?
I did.
So it's ultralight approved then. All right.
Yeah, they're not. I seriously, right? Because I think I left at Kirsten's Passage I took a rest day, and I shipped some stuff back, and I almost put the medal in there. I was in not good condition by the time. I want to get this, but I kept it. Thankfully, I was really grateful to be able to carry it with me. Yeah, so that's how it started, really, and then it evolved. Right, to get all. So for the longest time, we were just 3, 4. I made a big mistake with the second medal, which was PCT, and I just copied their logo. Oops, you can't do that. So I had to toss that whole back. So I donated to the PCT, so the association, and they could able to use them and just give them out to volunteers and everything. So I had to redesign that. So lesson learned. But yeah, it was so that's how it started. And yeah, by now, so now we are for 7 years. Wow. Golly, 7 years, and it's about 55, and I think with all these new ones now, 60 designs. Yeah, and they sell all over the world. It's today was Australia, yesterday Germany. What was the other one? Germany, France. So it's Mexico. So it's fun. And the connection is so much fun, right? The connection with the hikers, the stories that you hear, because for everybody, it's an experience. They don't buy the medal to show off. It is to commemorate something, right? A unique experience in their life, which was the JMT, because I have not done a hike like that since then, right? And I mean, I may not think about it daily, but it comes pretty closely, right? I think when I was done with the geometry, I thought this never again. It was so hard, but it changes you, and so it's you think about it a lot, and this is what the medal kind of reflect. And it's not you're going to walk around with the medal right around your neck. It's just to have, especially if it's an engraved on the back as well, with something special about it. And and that's how it came about.
What's
Yeah.
the number one selling metal?
Good question. It is probably El Camino in Spain.
Really?
That's very popular
Would not have
because it's
guessed that.
also international, right? Everest Base Camp is yeah. Because the first time somebody asked me actually for Everest, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. Who's going to? I mean, I'm right. How many people climb Everest? But then I thought, let me do Everest Base Camp. Incredibly popular, also international a lot. And then Tour du Mont Blanc is very popular, and then of course anything Grand Canyon, right? The rim to rim, rim
Awesome.
to rim. So those are very popular as well. Yeah.
Can you talk to us about like the design process? Because every single one of these medals is from scratch. Like I mean, so like I'm intrigued just on how you come up with the designs and the inspiration. Obviously, the inspiration. So if you just pick a trail and you're like, okay, so I've got to create something that represents this trail. So can you talk to
Yeah.
us about that?
Yeah, and sometimes because I have a long list of medals that customers still would like me to design, right? So I get these requests and I add them to the list, and it depends a little bit on the more demand I get, then that becomes a priority. Or if you all ask me to do a medal, it becomes a higher priority. But so
We
based
appreciate
on
that.
that, yeah, no pressure. So I started, but initially it's just a Google search, right? Just to get some ideas. What is the medal? And now I'm doing one in Iceland. I forgot the name of the trail, can't pronounce it. But so you can,
Uh-oh.
and these pictures are incredible. The colors are just amazing. So that gives you immediately and you don't even need to look at a picture, right? You do a Google search, look at the images, and you see if it's all foresty, it's all green, right? Or if it's high mountains, you see that gives you immediately an idea. Okay, this is what's going to be, right? High level, a lot of green. What are the colors? And then you go into the details. But the thing is, you want to have things in the design that really make people like, yeah, I had that on the trail, right? For Angel's Landing, the cable, right, that you can
Mhm.
pull yourself up on. That's in there. In the Ice Age trail, it has the trees have a yellow marker, right, with paint. That's on there. So I have my standard searches, right? So it starts with an overview to get a general idea. Then I look at the route. I look at the flags, right? I don't know all the flags of all the states by heart. Then look at, are there trail markers, right? Or anything special. And if I have somebody who's asked for the medal, I normally run it by them, right? What is the number one thing that you want to see in the medal?
No, that's
And
cool. I
yeah,
like.
What
yeah.
about
So
animals? Because I think I noticed something on the Ice Age trail.
yeah. So I've you never see people on the medals. I steer away from it. It will never look good, right? So I also steered away from animals until the Kilimanjaro. People had been asking about it. So I have a giraffe there, and I don't know what else I have. An elephant I have on there, uh, but it's really hard to draw, right? But yeah, on the Ice Age Trail has a mammoth indeed. The So I do animals now, but still I would not do people on there because a lot of you see hikers on there, and I try to stay away from there. I try also stay away from structures. I think the JMT is the exception.
I
It
was
has
about
the
to ask. I was like,
Mhm.
oh no.
Yeah, that's but the funny thing is, right? I mean, so it's a John Muir Trail hut, right?
Right.
Every rock, every brick of that is an actual, right? It's, if you look at picture, you could put it on there, right? It's the exact image of that. So it was so. It had a great memory for me. That it was a very strange day for me on the trail. The day I was at the John Muir Trail hut. I got lost, and it's the weirdest day. You have those days on the trail, right, where your mind just goes a direction that you didn't really
Sure.
expect it to go. And so it means a lot to me, that hut, right? It was kind of, I reached the top. It was hard to get there. It was even harder to go down. Um, but yeah, so there's only right now, I think there's two medals that have um, animals on them. Yeah.
Excellent. So I think our last episode, I can't remember. So Hawk is in the chat right now, and he has completed the Appalachian Trail 7 times. And I told him that I would get him a deal. So here's the deal. He's got to buy 7 medals. And if he goes this year, he'll get the 8th free. So we have the owner on here, Wim, who is
Deal.
Wim. Is that a deal, Wim?
And free engraving.
And free engraving. Okay.
Oh, snap.
All right, Hawk, so get your credit card out. You got to buy 7 and you'll get the 8th free. But you could get the 20% off discount by using the code Jester. So there you go.
There you go.
Hawk's
That's
going to wear
awesome.
8 medals and look like some kind of punk rapper or something like
I
that.
know. Yeah. I don't know if you can pierce them somehow. No. Oh, did you see that? That somebody had taken my design and used it for a tattoo?
Yeah, I
see
thought
the-
that was
Yes.
awesome.
What a credit, right?
Yeah.
Your design's so good that somebody wants it on their body forever.
It was impressive. I mean, I was impressed that somebody did that, and I was definitely flattered. And I thought, I wish you had asked me. I would kind of change a few things around, but yeah, it was amazing. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Excellent. So Hawk just said you better make 8 of them. So that must mean he's going again this year. So, okay, you guys, you heard it here on the Beyond the Trail podcast. We are going to make it happen. I do have a question because you mentioned that you draw these things on your iPad. Are you using a particular program? Because when I draw on an iPad, it looks worse than an Etch-a-Sketch. So are you utilizing a particular software?
yeah, I think it's anything. So I think it's called Graphic. I don't know. It's not that sophisticated, but it does exactly what I needed to do. Right, it needs to be a vector file, which vector file means you can blow it up as much as you want, right? So that's what I can give to the factory. And also because a few years ago I switched factories, right? Because I worked initially with an intermediate, so I would kind of give them more of a rough design, and that they would finalize it in their software. But I would miss, there was no depth in there, right? They was all flat because I had no way to communicate to them. I would draw lines on a piece of paper. Right, this needs to be deeper. I didn't know how to use the right terminology. But they were all kind of flat, and so then at some point in time, and the medals were getting thinner, so then I switched to I went straight to the factory, and now indeed with this software I can specifically say, because indeed everything has a different layer, and so this is at, it starts at the it's at least 4 millimeters always, right? So that gives it the heavier weight, but sometimes a little thicker as well. I can indicate exactly where I want things, how thick I want things to be.
That's
was that your
fascinating
question?
to me.
I don't. That answered my question, and like Austin was getting ready to say, I have no clue. I don't draw a thing. Like I can't draw a stick figure, like nothing.
Yeah, and I don't see myself as an artist at all, right? It's more about getting the visuals to see what you want to have on the medal. So I do draw it roughly on a piece of paper first, and then I do use pictures and kind of to draw it then on the iPad, but often it's dot by dot. You blow it up so big, and you can kind of trace it, right, pixel by pixel almost, to get it the way you want it to be. Yeah.
That's what was so fascinating to me, because it's not just about drawing. Like you said, there's layers. You're talking about a 3-dimensional object that you're designing. So so you shared with us the source files for the Smokies 900 medal, and it was. It looked nothing like the metal itself, because it was all color coded. But it was just fascinating to me that all of these different files, when you stack them on top of each other, that's what creates the metal. It was so cool to me. I geeked out on it a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know what I was looking at. I just knew it was something beyond my comprehension. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So one of the cool things about what we're doing at specifically Jester Wallis Productions is we have a partnership with you, Wim, and Hiker Metals, and our conversation here tonight could not be more than what we envisioned. We've really turned into friends. This has really turned into a partnership. And we reached out to you at the end of 2022. And one of our goals was we really wanted to work with somebody specifically on the Safe and Found documentary that we have coming up or that we're working on. But we also wanted this partnership to be more than just, hey, be a sponsor for us and we'll reach out to you every once in a while. And I think we've accomplished that. So people that have been listening to the episodes have heard Austin and I talk about this, but I think it would be cool if people could hear your perspective. And you did join us back in March, so it'd be cool to hear about that as well.
Yeah, no, the partnership is something amazing, right? So yeah, you all reached out to me a few months ago. Uh, it was initially a very long email, very well written, and then when we got on the call, it was just it was the perfect timing, I think, right? So Hiker Metals is not a big business, right? It's doing well, but it's a side business, and I do wonder where can it go next, right? This is not about making money. I have a job for that pays the bills. I also feel incredibly guilty, to be truly honest, because one of the, you ask, why are you giving money back to the organizations? And part of it is guilt, right? I can't believe people wouldn't pay money to me for something I designed. I still can't fathom that, really. So to give back, it kind of alleviates me from my guilt, but it also helps, right? And it's not, they're not going to call name a trail after Hiker Metals. It's not that much money,
Yeah.
right? But it's symbolic, and you can round up a little bit at the end of the year. But it's really because it's that about that connection, right? I'm not here to make money off of all these trails. It's about giving back, and people that buy the medals, I want them to feel good as well. Okay, right, that you buy it, but you're giving back, right, to the trail that you clearly care about. And almost all of the US trails, I think about 50% have dedicated beneficiaries, and others are more generic. So, but when you reached out, I was to the point, what's next? And it was perfect timing. And I think I have no idea. And again, it kind of had to evolve, and it was not like a bullet list. This is what you're going to get, right? Or this is what we try to accomplish. I think it was the connection that we had, of course, with Jester, with you, Julie, and with Austin, and then just what you were trying to accomplish, and of course the documentary, which I'm definitely very fascinated by, what you all are doing, and can't wait to see the end result. And
Neither can we. That's what Austin always says.
exactly,
None more excited than us.
yeah, I know, right? So the timing was just perfect, and it's been y'all have been so great and so supportive. And again, it's not about the sales that this would generate. It's about the connection with y'all, with your listeners, or we met, right, a few. Gosh, is it months ago already,
I
right?
know.
So yeah,
In March. Yeah, in March we
March.
spent the
Oh,
day together, a very,
yeah.
very cold day together.
Yeah, so worth it though. But
Yes.
so yeah, just it's another avenue. See what's gonna happen. So the time was great, and I'm grateful for this opportunity, and love being here, and love the connection. Hmm.
Well, we certainly hope, we can come through with the documentary. And I know we laugh, but we are going to make it happen. And your family has grown as well with Nancy and the Haywood County Search
Yeah.
and Rescue Team. And you had the opportunity, you and your wife flew
Hmm.
up for the weekend from Texas
Yeah.
and met us in Western North Carolina. Walk us through, your thought process on that. And you know what? Maybe Austin, set the stage on what that day was. Why did Wim meet us, and what were we doing?
That was a big day. So the day, the idea started from our very first filming with Nancy and the crew the previous month. And we had sat down and talked with Mike, one of the team members. He's kind of the head honcho. And, I wanted to, I was like, I want to go out on a rescue mission. I want to film a rescue mission because I think it would be invaluable footage to try to tell the story of the search and rescue team. What better way than to tell it through an actual rescue? And Mike very kindly said that I would not be going out on a rescue mission with a team. I was more than welcome to come to like the command post or something like that, but not out with the team for a myriad of different reasons. And I totally get those, but I had to ask. And so through that conversation, he mentioned that they were actually conducting a training event the following month, where the Haywood County Search and Rescue team, along with the Carolina Mountain Club, we're doing kind of a joint thing where they're bringing in CMC folks to kind of supplement the search and rescue teams for these longer events, the 3+ day events. They're going to bring in these CMC folks and help with search and rescue. And so that was the premise for the event. And then the scenario is that Nancy was going to be the lost hiker out in the woods, and these teams were going to go out in the woods and try to find her. And so we threw it out there. And quite honestly, Wim, I didn't, we put it out there, but I was like, he lives in Texas. There's no way he's going to be able to come. So we were actually overjoyed when you were like, yeah, I'll be out there. I was like, awesome. So yeah, tell us about, from your perspective, like, cause we threw a bunch of stuff at you, and somehow you're buying it all. So.
Yeah, I know.
Well, first of all, I think he was like, I got to go see if these people, what are they doing?
Are they for real? Yes, it was great. I mean, Laura, my wife, joined me as well. It was a great opportunity to meet you both and kind of, talk a little bit about what we were doing. And but I'm fascinated by search and rescue, right? So when you think about search and rescue, all you initially may think about, at least I did, was the helicopter you see flying over, right? Picking up somebody and leaving. That's not it, right? It's the search part. That is the hardest part, most likely. And we're also hoping to avoid it. And we're doing everything we can with hiker safety to try to not need that, but it's great to know that if you need it, it's there. And I was in awe that day. I was also in pain because of the cold, but other than that, I was in awe. The amount of people that were involved and the logistics just to get a command center set up and all the equipment that gets involved, they had it all set up. Because I thought it was just a training event, right? With people, I don't know, get some instructions and they all go do their thing. But it was so well coordinated. It was like a real event, and so many volunteers. Right, and that's what it takes. Unbelievable. But indeed, the search aspect of it was incredible, and it was also pretty clear that we could not go with the actual search and rescue. Right, Austin, you were able to go. Right, that was awesome.
So I had to sell my soul, but
exactly. Yeah.
So they let me go. Yeah,
they were clearly smart people not to let us go with that, because they would have turned into a real event, probably search and rescue. But it was so fascinating to see the organization, and then they had different groups, right? They were all going to do different things, but we were able to listen in how the groups were getting organized. The volunteers don't know each other either, right? So they had to, first of all, also make sure that they wouldn't lose anybody on the trail. Right? So the procedures they put in place to make sure that they don't lose anybody, and then also because something happened that day, and you may better, Julie, to recollect exactly what happened, but there was some kind of a miscommunication that happened, right? But because of a small event of maybe not following protocol, what can happen clearly, which I think almost happened, is where the search and the volunteers are very close to the actual targets, right? We don't call it a victim, right? But target, without finding them, right? Because of whatever reason. And but it was very interesting. I was very honored that we could see that from so close by and witness it and see how they did the rescue.
And Wim, you brought your camera and you were taking video and pictures, and I don't know, you had like a time lapse going at one point. I was like, man, Wim is fitting right in. And things were so chaotic back at command post. It would get chaotic and then it would calm down. It would get chaotic when they would hear from one of the teams, And then I was able to be inside the command post, hearing all the chaos, and they were getting coordinates and various things were happening. So it was a really, really good day. And when you hang out with Austin and I, we have a plan, but we're not really sure what the plan is, but it always ends up being way better than what we anticipated. And that just seems to be our MO, and it's working for us so far.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was an absolutely very memorable day, and it was great. It was really great weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the very next day, you guys flew out, went home, and were probably collapsed when you got home.
Yeah, exactly. It was a short trip, but it was really worth it. Yeah, I met great people. Yeah.
Well, we hope we get to see you guys again. We've got some things coming up, so hopefully you and Laura have marked October on your just pencil out the whole month of October.
Wim's like, well, I guess so. Okay.
I guess everything's done now. Yeah. Okay.
I think it'd be really cool if you guys came to Aldous. So that is October, Friday, Saturday, the 6th and the 7th, or the 7th and the 8th, something like that.
Okay. Awesome.
I think you would
check it out.
Yeah, it's the Appalachian Long Distance Hikers Association. So it's just like this very well organized series of workshops, keynote speakers, hikers hanging out. It's all hikers. So you can wear the same outfit all weekend if you want to. It's that laid back to, there's dinners, there's lunches. I mean, it's just a fun time. And they have like an author's area, a selling area where you could sell medals and things like that. So, and we invite everybody in the chat too, because we want everybody to be there. But
Stella
Austin,
just put the link in there.
Oh, she did? Excellent. Stella, you are on point. So as always, I just looked at the clock, and, Austin and I, we're very consistent with this. It has been 48 minutes. So believe it or not, we do very well at creeping on up to the hour mark. And Wim, I mean, honestly, we cannot thank you enough for what you're doing, for what you're helping us do. And I don't even know if we want to call it a partnership. It's a friendship, and we're just working together.
Right. Exactly. No, the honor is all mine, and I appreciate it. It's been so much fun, and so much more to come. So looking forward to that.
Exactly. Yes. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
We haven't even done anything with all this footage we've been shooting yet.
Austin, don't tell him that. You're not supposed to tell him that.
You promised some kind of a red carpet event. That's the only thing that I heard.
Well, okay, so now it's gotten even worse. And what I mean by we're doing multiple events, which is going to be great. So our intention is at the beginning of the year, January 2024, sometime that month, we are going to do a premiere for the Haywood County Search and Rescue Team and anybody that we ended up interviewing, of course, in Waynesville, somewhere there. And then we are going to do like a full-on premiere, maybe like a couple weeks later, where it not only has it turned into a premiere, but it's turned into like a full event. So we were talking over some ideas, and none of this is set in stone, where during the day, like the Haywood County Search and Rescue team members that are trainers, they call it PSAR, preventative search and rescue. They would come and do like a workshop. And then Nancy would do a workshop. So, maybe in the morning we would have the Haywood County Search and Rescue. Maybe mid-afternoon, Nancy would come and do a workshop. Then like have a meet and greet with Nancy and, us or whoever, some of the team members that were, part of the interview process. And then that evening, show the premiere. What do y'all think?
I'm in.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So in the chat, if anybody's left,
we've still got a couple handfuls.
What do y'all think about that? And we really want to, make a thing of it to where it's not just, hey, come watch this movie. It's education. And that's the whole point. And, that whole day is a fundraiser, of course. And there will be an admittance fee. We don't know what that is. We'll have to talk about that. And then it will be raising funds for the Western North Carolina Safety Fund for the Haywood Search and Rescue Team, Haywood County Search and Rescue Team. And then we kind of go from there. Nancy did mention a couple other venues that would probably be glad to have us. It'll only be the one shebang. So if you miss the one shebang where like it's the all day thing, the next premieres will, be showing the premiere. And some of the Haywood County Search and Rescue team members are already saying, yeah, we should show it here. Yeah, we should show it there. So I think we're going to have some help in getting us into some of these smaller venues in Western North Carolina. So, Austin, did you even hear us talking about that?
Not about the all day thing.
Okay, so surprise.
Yeah, that's the way she convinces you, right? So just do it on air, and then you can cut it back.
Well, quite honestly, these filming events, like when we're shooting the footage, like the whole thing is just a blur for me. Because if I'm not standing behind the camera watching, making sure settings aren't right, the worst is between interviews because I'm switching out SD cards, I'm switching out batteries, I'm backing up foot, like it's a whole thing. So meanwhile, while I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, people are talking. So clearly people were talking and I just was not part of the conversation.
Yeah, I think this was me and Nancy at one point. I don't know who was there. It may have been, you were clearly not part of the conversation. But since Nancy is an author and she has the book and it relates to the film, it only makes sense that we would make it a training event.
Yeah. Well, that's the so what of the whole thing. Like we're talking about we want to make it entertaining, but also there's the educational piece, the safe and found piece. How do you stay safe? How do you stay found? It only makes sense to incorporate that in there.
So Wim, okay, again, January, just mark off the whole month.
October and January. Okay, got it.
There was no response in the chat except, so I'm not sure if Laura is in or not.
She is. Mm-hmm.
Except for Stephanie says that she's not wearing a premiere formal. So
we can. What we'll do is take some like outdoor carpet, like that real rough stuff, and just spray paint it red.
Like Brady Bunch, like AstroTurf or whatever it is. And spray paint it red. It's going to be real gangster because that's how we roll. So anyway, so I don't think I have any more questions, Wim. Austin, is there anything else you can think of?
No, Wim, any final thoughts or anything like that before we close it out?
No, thank you for having me on the show. Love being here. So great seeing you both.
Yeah,
the pleasure is definitely all ours. It's been, it was very, back in December when we first spoke, I was very cautious and there was a lot of trepidation, like, how is this going to go? But I've been so pleasantly surprised with you, with Hiker Metals and just this partnership and the friendship that has come from it. I'm just super excited about what we're going to be able to do together. So good things.
Yeah, good things. Thank you. Same here.
And I just want you guys to know that everybody is putting in the chat, they're not wearing their premiere formals. So hiker, it's your hiker trash outfit. What would you wear? No, I'm kidding.
I do have a tuxedo T-shirt. I might do that.
That is hilarious. Yeah. And I don't even own a dress. So that is not happening. So we'll end it on that.
Neither do I. So yeah.
All right, Wim, hang on. Don't leave yet while Austin and I close this out. So, all right, folks, you heard it here. We are going to do some type of educational premiere, probably toward the later part of January, get through the holidays, just about the time where everybody is getting outdoor fever. Everybody's planning their hikes, their kayak trips, their outdoor adventures, and boom, we're going to hit you with come see us in Waynesville, North Carolina for an all-day educational hiker safety event. And I can think of no better note than to end it on that. Austin, any parting thoughts before we head out of here?
Good times.
Oh, I do have a parting thought.
Oh, lay it on us.
Again, because we are consistently inconsistent, we are going live next Thursday again with who?
The River King, Mr. Pete Beck. So we are taking a departure. We're an equal opportunity podcast. So
Yes, we
even
are.
though we say Beyond the Trail podcast, we like to talk to folks from all outdoor venues. So if you're on YouTube and you paddle any type of watercraft, you probably know the River Kings. Pete's a good friend of mine, and he has agreed to come on the podcast and talk about the River King community and all the great things that have come from that. So yeah, stay tuned. Next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, swing by and you'll hear from the River King himself.
Yeah, he's built a great community on his YouTube channel, and he has the best laugh on YouTube. And I have thrown it out there that we're going to have a laugh off. So I'm not sure what's going to happen next week.
Oh Lord, I'll have my mute button ready for that.
All right, you guys. As always, we truly appreciate you joining us next Thursday, 8 p.m. Jester Wallis Productions, Beyond the Trail podcast. Be safe out there, everybody. In Austin,
Good times.